maybe a little bit underwhelming for the
Oh, you're
hype
mad.
that it
You're
had.
mad. You're mad. Absolute madness. Hi, guys. Welcome. And you are not going to believe the just absolutely insane day we've had. The GTA trailer wasn't supposed to drop till around midnight Australian time tonight. It has dropped today. It got leaked. It got taken down. And Rockstar just went, you know what? It's out there. Let's just post it. Places went into an absolute frenzy. I raced home from where I was, tried to get all sorts of stuff done. And unfortunately, because of them getting it taken down everywhere, there's copyrighted stuff and we couldn't post most of it. Even on TikTok, the sound was then just muted, which is a real pain in the rear end. So unfortunately, I had planned on putting it into the podcast and we can't do that. But let's talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts, Stu.
Yeah, it was obviously a little bit unexpected. Apologies for my voice, by the way, if you can tell I'm a little bit unwell at the moment. But yeah, it was quite unexpected, but I thought it was probably a bit shorter than I would have anticipated. Just straight off the bat, although they were I suppose in the title saying that it's trailer one, they were very much suggesting probably another one's coming soon. But it sort of confirmed what all of the rumors about the game were saying. That it would be in Vice City, and Vice City only, it seems. That it would be, the sort of time period, a lot of the locations and all of that were kind of confirmed with the trailer. So I might get into my opinions about it after you've had a few words to say.
So there's so much. Like I've watched this trailer over and over again. I've gone through frame by frame and made notes about everything. Or not notes about everything, but there's a lot of points that I took away that I wanted to talk about. One thing that I kind of might disagree with you on, in the fact that you said it's going to be in this one locale. There's a lot of images in the trailer of planes, in the sky, in the background, all that kind of stuff. So I'm maybe leaning towards the fact that there's going to be more added, or there's going to be, might be able to jump on a plane and go over to San Andreas or go up to Liberty City. And as you say, trailer one, they might just be going, well, here's trailer one, here's Vice City. Trailer two, here's Liberty City. Trailer three, here's San Andreas.
We also don't have any idea yet, what they're going to do with GTA Online. We've spoken about that on previous episodes of the podcast, whether they're going to merge the existing GTA Online with, whatever comes down the line with GTA 6,
definitely.
or whether that just continues as its own standalone thing. But I think for me, if I had to just give an overarching opinion to sort of kick us off, I thought it was maybe a little bit underwhelming for the hype that it had.
You're mad. You're mad. Absolute madness.
There you go.
Everything about this trailer. There's a bit where the guy's getting out of the car while it's moving, out of the pickup truck.
Yeah.
The light texture bounce and the way that the color of the car like glitters off in the light. Everything from stuff that I've got noted here that I wanted to talk about, like the NPC density.
Yeah.
Like just crazy.
I'm not sure if it mentioned at any point whether or not, like, which bits of it were gameplay footage. It seemed like most of it was either rendered or it was cutscenes to me. which are
So,
probably pre-rendered anyway.
my thoughts on it were that, and I have got this written down here somewhere, that I don't think any of it was CGI'd trailer, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't just a trailer that they'd made to be a trailer.
Yeah,
I think all the parts were taken from the game. I think a lot of it was obviously, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? In-game cinematics.
yes, yeah.
Do you know
I
what I mean?
was probably all run in the game engine, but
Yeah.
it seemed, yeah, to me like most of it was cinematics, and they're always going to look better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I do agree that the lighting did look like a significant improvement over GTA 5, but I thought probably that the character models and the vehicle models basically looked the same as what we've currently got in GTA 5, to be honest. Um, yeah.
No, no. There's only one game that I've seen that stands up to how this trailer has looked so far, and that's Red Dead Redemption 2. Like that game still holds up fantastically for a 5-year-old game.
To me, Red Dead Redemption 2 probably looks better than what I've seen of this so far.
I mean, in fairness, you have only watched this trailer like what, half an hour ago, and probably only
Yeah.
seen it the one
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah.
I've watched this most of the day. I've gone through it frame by frame, as I said. But like everything from the way that the Rockstar have taken their way of addressing the social commentary of the modern time and put it as like the attire to this city, with like the social media reels and all of that on top of the overly sexual gags that they make and the criminal side of things. There's all that. I thought a lot of the models, NPCs, and the cars, there was a lot of differentiating looks, if that's the right way to put that. You're not seeing a lot of the same cars over and over. There's a shot on the beach. Not one person was wearing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a very packed beach.
You would expect, though, for the development time that this game has had, that it would have those sorts of details. Look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad.
I know. I know you're
I
not, and
didn't
I'm
see
not.
enough for a minute and a half trailer to suggest yet, and I think it probably will, but I haven't seen enough yet to suggest that it's going to live up to its hype.
You see, I disagree. That minute and a half. There's that one reel that they showed with the social media thing with the grandma with the two hammers.
Yeah.
That I almost couldn't tell was in-game footage. I almost thought it was real.
Right.
Like, it
Right.
looked that good. The lighting on it was superb. Like, it really, really stood out to me.
That's going to be an interesting one. Is how good the game looks on consoles and
Yeah.
on PC at like lower presets,
Oh,
as
100%.
opposed to if you've got a kind of high end PC running on like ultra or high end presets.
Yeah,
It probably is going to look that good. Is it going to look that good on PS5
yeah,
and Xbox Series
yeah.
X?
I think there's 2 points I want to get into there. Is that the first one? This game's probably going to be locked early doors on PS5 and 3 on the Series X at 30 FPS
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
because it's just going to be too much. And I also don't think that for the standard person using a PC to play it, I think it's going to be 4, maybe 5 years before they're actually able to afford to get the stuff in their PCs to be able to make it look as good as it did in the trailer.
We've already got games that have come out this year that sort of require the absolute highest end of hardware just to
Yeah,
run well, like Alan Wake 2, for example. You really need you need like a 4090 or at the very least a 4080. Like if you want to
yeah,
play 4K at a reasonable frame rate, you you need really high end hardware for that.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it wouldn't surprise me if GTA 6 goes that way. But we've also seen, like, say with Cyberpunk, for example, with its big DLC, that game now is looking how it always should have looked, but
Mm,
on the high end hardware.
yeah.
And there is an increasing disparity with how these games look on console. They still look great on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Don't get me wrong, um, but if you want a playable frame rate, if you want 60 FPS and you're playing in performance mode on console, you're going to get that drop in visual fidelity, and that for this game, for how it looks in the trailer and how people are going to expect it to look, you're going to have to go one way or the other if you're playing on console.
Hmm. Now, my other point on that side of things, which I was going to sort of leave towards the end, but what do you think the disc side, now that we've sort of got an idea how this game's going to look and how big the map's going to be, etc., how big do you think the disc size is going to be and how much space will it take up? Because I've got a little wild out there theory that
Okay.
might work for this.
I mean, Red Dead 2 was 2 discs, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is 2 discs. Um, yeah, I would imagine that the part of the solution for getting it looking better on console will be to have really big texture packs. And the the PS5 and Xbox Series X can kind of manage that because they have a fair bit of unified memory. So I imagine they will go down that route for console. Is that they'll have really big texture packs, so they'll have a data disk for
Hmm.
installing that stuff, I would think. But who knows? Maybe they'll go for 3 discs.
My theory that I sort of thought about when I was going through everything was we'd heard that this game may take up like half the PlayStation storage, if not close to all of it. That's only rumors, but it's out there. What if they released it, especially with the rumored price point that came with that rumor of how big it was, that it was going to be like $200 Australian or US. I can't remember which one it was. What if it came on its own hard drive?
Um, I I doubt even Rockstar would have the economies of scale to make that viable.
It's just an idea, like it,
Could be
even if
wrong.
it was the M2 hard drives.
I think they'd still be way too expensive for them to. And what about people who already have an M.2
Yeah,
installed? It just becomes tricky with, or if it
yeah.
was some sort of external SSD, like, does that then mean that if you've already got one, that you've then got to sacrifice that or whatever
Mm.
because you can only use one at a time?
Yeah,
I
well,
doubt they'll go down that route.
I look, I don't know what they're going to do, but it's an idea that popped in my head. If those rumors of the size and the price were right, that's maybe why they are that way. What else have I got written on here? See, back to what you were saying about it being a little bit underwhelming. To me, it really looked like they've put that GTA 5 and online money to really good use, and like really putting the time and effort with this game. In saying that, gotta admit, was wrong twice on this trailer. The first one being that I thought it would drop at Gamescom, Game Awards, and it didn't. It came a couple of days earlier. And the second one being that I thought it would be out by the end of next year, and it says 2025 on the trailer. That's providing that we don't have delays. In saying that, what are you thinking? 2025, first half of 25?
I think it'll probably be first quarter of 2025. Given what we spoke about with, the with Rockstar's internal financial predictions, I think it's quite likely it will be early 2025, and I think people were kind of leaning that way anyway. It was either going to be late 2024 or early 2025. So I would suggest, it would probably be first quarter. But who knows? It could be as late as May, I suppose.
Yeah. With it being in Florida, a lot of things in Florida. Do you think they're gonna throw a couple in, or at least one in?
What are you hinting at?
No, I'm not hinting at them doing any collaboration type thing or anything like that. I'm asking the question, and if so, do they do a? They're always going to do like a piss take kind of thing. Are they going to do a piss take of Universal, piss take of Disney? Are they going to do a combined kind of piss take?
I think they'll probably do
something that we already know from in game and make it something around that.
I think they'll probably do a piss take of everything like they usually do. So there'll be all of the existing brands that are in the game already, and then they'll probably introduce some more. I don't think it's their way of having really any real life stuff. I can't really think of any examples of real life brands that ever appear in the series. It's always a piss take. Even the more respectable brands, they still manage to find a way to take the piss out of them. So, I have to say, even though it was expected, I'm a little bit disappointed, I think, about it being like a current era game. Just because there are a few reasons. Firstly, I think that some of the older GTA games are maybe made better by the fact that they take place slightly in the past, but maybe that doesn't give Rockstar any room to play with time periods really, because they'd already done that with previous games.
Yeah.
But I'm also concerned with how this goes now with the online, because if they're planning on doing some sort of merge with the current GTA Online, or they're starting a new GTA Online, they've got that power creep problem of like all of the current stuff that they have in GTA Online, like, the oppressor and all of those sorts of, all the alien weapons and stuff that are just like way too overkill for a brand new title, and too unrealistic for the start of a cycle anyway. So how they get around that, if they were going to merge them, would be really tricky. And if they're not going to merge them, are people going to be really upset that they lose their stuff and have to start again?
Well, I think that there's a way around doing that. And it goes back to what I said earlier of being able to jump on a plane, where you can go to San Andreas. You've got all your stuff there. People are still there. People are still doing stuff. But when you come over to Florida, nothing comes with you. Like you're a criminal enterprise, your money stays over there, your money stays over here from what you get. Or
Yeah,
maybe your money goes, but there's nothing really to buy early doors like there wasn't in
sure. So
San
like your
Andreas.
vehicles and weapons and stuff don't translate over.
Yeah,
Only
so
your money,
only your money because
which is
people
which
pay
is what
real money for that.
that's what they currently do with the multi-character system. Is you don't
Yeah,
get any of your stuff, but your money is shared between all of your characters.
yeah,
It
yeah.
would be
So
it would be one way around it, but I guess they've still got the problem of like why are you able to buy and use some of this stuff in San Andreas, but then when you go to Florida, you can't buy any of the same stuff. You know, it's just a
yeah,
and
but
then does that mean that they're then going to release some of that stuff for the GTA 6
well, no,
online
no,
down the
I
line?
don't think so. I don't think so because you got to think like you've done everything there is to do in San Andreas. Now you've set up this whole criminal enterprise. You're now setting up a new criminal enterprise over there. You've got no contacts. You're starting from scratch again. So if you were to do that in real life, you can't just walk in and just go, oh, I'm going to buy all the biggest and best stuff. You're starting from the bottom and working up again, even if you've got the money there.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be people who have amassed huge wealth already in GTA Online that if your money did carry across, they have an immediate competitive advantage.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not sure even that works. They probably have to just
But if the,
do a
but
reset.
if there's nothing to buy, like there wasn't really in GTA Online when it first started,
Yeah,
you couldn't
yeah,
really
sure.
even buy an apartment to start with.
Yeah,
You had to wait for time to come, and you know, for a long time there, I had all the best stuff, and then I just got priced out of it because I wasn't
yeah,
going to spend real money on it.
yeah.
Um,
Or put
so
hundreds of hours into it.
yeah, exactly. Although I did put a lot of hours in early first 6 years. That's weird saying that. What do you think to the female protagonist?
I don't I don't have any problem with it kind of fundamentally. Um it's a it's not a first for the series technically, but kind of for the 3D era, it's a first.
Hmm.
So I don't think again I don't think there's an issue with it. It will probably upset some people, but I think in terms of the kind of story where you've got some sort of criminal enterprise or whatever. Why couldn't the protagonist be a female?
Oh,
Really?
100%. 100%. Um, for me, like it really seemed like they had like the full Bonnie and Clyde thing going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Um, I think the social media aspect's going to play a big part in that. I think there's going to be, kind of like the way that social media is going today, but like they're putting their crimes and all that out there and gaining like this mass following.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. There's a couple of the snippets on there that had like watermark logos. So I'm not quite sure if there's going to be maybe a faction type thing, or whether or not,
Interesting idea.
like they're kind of like the YouTube channels that then you know you make appearances on or whatever and gain following, much how we do in real life.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Um, what else have we got? See, back. I know I'm going back and forth and back and forth. The lighting in that opening snippet
Yeah.
where she's chatting and goes, "Oh, I guess it's bad luck." The lighting on that and seeing the dust in the air and all that sort of stuff was just masterpiece for me. And then the next shot where, it's the beach, the way the water looked fantastic compared to GTA 5. I liked the water in GTA 5. You've always had a bit of a problem with it and thought that
Yeah,
4 looked better.
Yeah, well, 4 did look
It
better,
did.
and a lot of those bits and pieces looked better in 4, and they scaled it back for 5 just to get the sheer size of the map
Yeah.
into the game for the hardware at the time, which is understandable. And I think they've been clawing some stuff back over time. They've been slowly improving the visuals with updates for GTA over the years.
Yeah.
GTA 5, I should say.
But yeah, that whole scene on the beach, you can see quite a fair way, and the way the water moved as the boats go through it, I thought looked just superb. And then we get the shot of I can't remember what it is. It's in like the bayou,
Yeah.
and like the foliage, the flamingos, the plant life, the wildlife, everything there looked mind blowing to me. Really mind blowing on how good it looked. The crocodiles.
Alligators.
Oh well, yeah, alligators. Crocodiles here, alligators there.
They are different animals.
Yeah, I know they're different animals, but it's yeah. Don't worry, ADHD brain. One comes into the head, it comes out. I thought the way they're going to play them into the game is going to be really, really interesting. Maybe
I
we
did
might
wonder
get
that actually. Yeah.
maybe we might get some hunting things come into it with much like Red Dead Redemption. Go skin some crocodiles or whatever.
I can see them doing for the online mode down the line. I can see them doing, alligator pet sort of thing. You could
Yeah.
use it to attack
Well,
people.
that'd be fun. That would be fucking cool. I like that. Really like that. So I've got two more questions. What did you think of the logo?
I thought it was a bit of a like Hotline Miami sort of ripoff, but it's
Hmm?
it's set in kind of Miami or Vice
Yes.
City. Their sort of take on Miami.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's probably what you would have expected it to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Oh, excuse me.
yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
I,
But it's
I,
it's certainly the aesthetic that you would have expected them to go for.
yeah, definitely. I thought it looked really sleek. I thought it was a nice, the V being a bit chunkier and, really, really shows without having the named GTAs like San Andreas and Vice City of the past have actually, you're still able to just look at the logo and go, that's Vice City, that's San Andreas, that's
Yeah.
Liberty City. I thought they did really well on that. Now, there was one shot in the trailer where you see the bridge going
Yep.
across and a few of the little sandbar islands. Kind of makes you realize how big this map can be.
Mm.
How big in terms of GTA 5 do you think this trailer is going to be? Like, is it going to be 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger, etc., etc.?
Well, we sort of talked a bit I think in previous episodes about some of the leaks and
Yeah. But
what
now,
they
now that
sort of
we've actually seen officially,
yeah, yeah. And the trailer does seem to suggest that um a lot of the stuff in those leaks was pretty accurate.
Mm.
Which, we always thought it would be because there was a reason that Rockstar came out and said like, yeah, these are genuine leaks. They were taken from our servers,
Yeah,
we just want to hold it back until it's ready. So I won't be surprised if the estimates in those leaks are fairly accurate, which I think they sort of suggested it's about 2.5 times bigger.
Yeah.
Which, is pretty. Was it 2.5 times bigger? I can't exactly
Around
remember,
that.
but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, for me, I think it's got to be at least 3 times bigger. If the other rumors are true as well, with the file size and all that sort of stuff, obviously that also
Um,
leans in with the population density of the NPCs and everything they're doing and the lighting and blah 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 blah. But
I mean,
I
traversing
think
across that massive of a map, particularly early on, is going to feel like a lot. It did in GTA 5,
it still
when that
does.
game first released and you had to drive. At least now there are much quicker ways of getting across the map. You can imagine if you've got a map that's 2 or 3 times the size of that, and your modes of getting across it are still just a car or a motorbike or maybe a helicopter or a plane. It's going to
Do you
take a really long time.
do you remember when I had like all the bunker and everything before? Like you had it and the other people we played with had it, and I had it all the way up in like Paleto Bay,
Yeah.
and like how long that used to take to do missions to get back and forth, and
Yeah, yeah,
so many
yeah.
times we failed because we'd run out of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
legit. It would take you, like 12 minutes or something to get from just in a
yeah,
normal car to get
that's
from one
probably
end of the
not going
map
to
to the
be
other.
that's probably not going to be too much of an issue story mode wise, but come online, if they do an online, is going to be madness, pure madness.
Yeah. I guess it's a relativity thing because even though the map is technically a lot smaller, say in San Andreas, even though the map is technically a lot smaller, it takes you a lot longer to get across it, so it feels
Yeah,
relatively big.
yeah,
So it will be a similar thing here, I think, is that like it is big, but you probably don't want it to feel like overwhelmingly big at the same
yeah,
time.
yeah. One last quick question that just popped into my head: do you think PC are going to get it at the same time as console?
Yeah, good question. I hope so. Really do.
Yeah, so do
Because
I.
I want to buy it on PC. Um, It'd be the first GTA game that I start on PC. I think I own most of them now on PC, but I play most of them um,
On
first on
PlayStation
console.
first. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
Like,
I hope it does come out on PC at the same time.
yeah, I'm also hoping that if they do um the online thing, that they separate it from 6 and do it as like an expansion or whatever, or just do it as a standalone thing. Because I think personally I'd want to play the story on PlayStation and then do the online on PC.
Is that just so you can sort of kick back on the couch and play it, sort of thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
relax and play through
yeah.
the
Like
story?
like I did it with Red Dead, and like I pulled the sofa in front of the TV and literally sat there for 2 weeks and just played the hell out of it over
Yeah.
the Christmas break. And the other thing, if there's any travel stuff like that coming up with the channel, remote play will be a big thing that will come in handy, where I can be kicking back in a hotel room and just play an hour of it to unwind and bang, put it aside, sort of thing. So yeah,
I
I
suppose,
don't know
like
if I really want to get twice.
some people, I who knows how the licensing would work here, but possibly if you bought it on Xbox, you might get it
Yeah,
on PC as well, and then you could sort of. But who knows whether that will actually work that way?
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's a funny sort of system at the moment where uh, you have some games where you get kind of multiple entitlement on different systems, and other games you don't.
Mm.
You have to purchase it multiple times if you want it on different systems, and then your save files don't transfer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if those rumors about the cost of this game are true, then
Yeah.
you don't want to be purchasing it multiple times.
There's also a possibility that we might be getting review codes by then. So you never know. Touch wood.
Like, share, and subscribe, and maybe we will.
Yeah. Definitely. Get on that button. See the little bell, see the little subscribe. Just hit that now. Do it. Anyway, sticking on the trailer thing, Fallout TV show trailer dropped during the week, or since we last did the podcast. I saw, I think it was probably mid last week that they released some set photos, and then since then, all I've seen on YouTube for ads and everywhere else is the trailer for the show. You hadn't seen it. I sent you to go watch it before we started recording. Thoughts?
Look, I'm not a massive fan of the series, but I've played a few Fallout games. It seems to me like they've captured the atmosphere and
Yeah.
the type of humor and all that sort of stuff of the Fallout games reasonably well. I couldn't really get much of an idea from the trailer about whether or not the TV show and its story is going to be of really high quality.
Yeah,
But
it
I,
doesn't offer a lot there.
no, it's very much a kind of visual impact trailer, and it looks great for that. But whether or not it's going to have the substance behind it, I don't
Yeah.
know yet.
For me, I watched it a couple of times now. As I said, like it's been everywhere, but it really seems like they're leaning on Fallout 3
Yeah.
and the story
Yeah.
behind Fallout 3 with some elements from the early part of Fallout 4.
Hmm.
With Fallout 4, it sort of shows you a bit more of the what happened before the bombs went off.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna play in a lot on this. The one thing that worried me, or not worried me, but really bugged me was I get releasing the stills from the trailer and some from the show. But why then release this trailer when it doesn't come out till the middle of April? And they're pushing
Yeah.
it so hard.
Hmm.
Like it's been everywhere. I mean, that's obviously targeted advertising, but I mean, still, you give me something that's, still, what, 4 or 5 months away.
Yeah, which in video game world is very normal, but in television,
Yeah.
that's not kind of how it works. Maybe they're just trying to capture some of the video game market interest and say, oh, hey, look, we've made this TV show based on this video game that you're meant to love. Come and watch it. But
Yeah.
I think the problem that you often have there is that a lot of real fans of a video game series aren't going to like the TV show, and if the TV show is successful, it's actually appealing to a wider audience. Like,
Yeah.
for example, yeah, there will be plenty of people who played The Last of Us who will like the TV show, but that show is successful because it's appealing to a wider audience.
Yeah. And the other thing is that TV show, although is a really great adaptation, was made because the story's really good and because it's a way of selling more games. How many
Yeah,
more people after The Witcher went back and started playing the games or went back and started reading the books?
yeah,
Game of Thrones, same thing. Everyone went back and read the books. Same thing happened with The Last of Us. They put out this real high quality TV show, everyone went, "Oh, well, let's go play this game," and off they went, and sales spiked.
And now
So
they can keep releasing remasters until the end of time.
yeah, the issue that Fallout has, there's no Fallout game, and hasn't been
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah,
And if they're hoping that this is going to spike sales on Fallout 76, there's
yeah. I
Bethesda and
don't think
Microsoft
so.
are going to have an issue
Yeah,
because
like where do you jump into that series? You know,
yeah,
um,
like we went and played it just before the DLC stuff came out, and it was okay. It was free to play at that point, but now there's the DLC, and you're traveling outside of those maps, and trying to get in there now. It's like trying to go back and do Destiny.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's so hard,
And
so hard.
although I was kind of ripping on Naughty Dog before there, that they've kind of got it right with when they've been releasing these remasters. You
Yeah,
know, they already had PS4 remaster for The Last of Us, and obviously The Last of Us Part 2 was fairly recent when the TV show came out. And then
yeah,
as it's kind of peaking in interest, they've done a remaster for Part 1. So,
yeah,
they've kind
definitely.
of got the timing right of those
Yeah,
releases, but
and
Fallout won't have that luxury, I don't think.
no, and they'll drop a part 2 remaster when season 2 comes out, which I don't think is going to be next year. I believe I heard it's going to be 2025.
Yeah, right. Well,
Which
I think
which
the Part 2 remaster's coming out before then, isn't it?
yeah, it might be. Might be. I could be wrong on all of that.
God
But
knows why a 3-year-old game needs a remaster, but,
sales. Um, but speaking of absolute bangers, Spider-Man 2 DLC has been announced. We have 3 DLCs coming for it. And the first one is starting with Maximum Carnage, and it drops on December 21st this month. I am absolutely pumped for that. A little bit surprised that they're going to try and do Maximum Carnage as a DLC. But with how short the game was, maybe they've just broken the story up into 4 bits. And like these are going to be quite significant DLCs.
I
My
imagine so.
pocket, my pocket is saying, please don't be like that. But if we're getting more Spider-Man and we're getting high quality DLC that's going to offer us, another 10, 15 hours for each one of these DLCs, I'm all for it. All for it.
Look, I think Insomniac have been pretty spot on. At least they were with the first one for the DLC that they did for that game.
Yeah,
They weren't
DLCs
massive,
weren't.
but
Yeah,
they were
they weren't
substantial
great.
enough, but they didn't charge a lot for them.
No, they didn't.
Um, and
But
I think
if
they'll
these are
probably strike
adding,
that balance this time.
if these are adding another 10 hours, like or 30 hours combined, which is longer than the game, but around doubling the game size, they're probably going to want a little bit more for it.
Yeah, which you can if you're getting that much out of it, you can probably accept.
Yeah, true. So obviously we're getting the Maximum Carnage storyline, which again I would have thought they probably would have lent on more in the next game, but they've obviously got their direction and planning out on that. So we are going to see the rise of Carnage and how that plays out. The second DLC, which is coming out early next year, or end of quarter 1, is going to be the origins of Venom.
Yep.
And then about August, September next year, I think they said was the third one, which is based on Black Cat and her travel to go save her girlfriend and all that sort of stuff. So, and the whole story revolving around around that. So again, thought maybe you play it the other way round, but start with your strong one, strongest story. And, you know, people are going to want to go and grab that because the game's still quite fresh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's go bang that out.
I think the
So,
timing of it is pretty perfect, to be honest.
yeah. Second probably their second strongest story. Those like myself will still be intrigued enough by then that will go buy it. The casual guys, well, if it's a bit smaller, story's not as good, doesn't really matter to them. And then the true diehards will still be getting the third DLC. Someone like
Yep.
yourself might not.
Yeah.
Depending on, you know, how much you love that game. Which, have you played much of it yet? Now that you have it?
No, I haven't. I intend on it.
Sometimes I really just want to grab your head and bang it into the desk.
Don't have the time.
Got enough time to sit there and jump on bloody Star Trek Online all the time.
10 minutes a day.
Do your daily missions. But anyway,
Hey, Mr. World of Warcraft. None of that, thank you.
Yeah. I haven't jumped on World of Warcraft at all this week, but I have been smashing out Warcraft Rumble. Go download it on iOS and Android right now. Just a cheeky little plug there. For no reason. I'm not getting paid to do it. Don't know why I did it. But anyway, on to the next thing, which is our bracket. Which is, we're up to 2010.
Yeah, we are very much getting into kind of modern-ish era now.
Yeah, well, we're well and truly into the PS3, Xbox 360 era.
Yep.
Some choices on this.
Yeah, great year.
Speaking of a game we just mentioned, Star Trek Online is an honourable mention. Surprised you didn't pick it. I thought that was going to be your shoo-in, but you didn't. Also released in 2010 for our honourable mention, we have BioShock 2, Fallout New Vegas, Fable 3, and up until the recent Insomniac games of Spider-Man, my favourite Spider-Man game of all time, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. There's a great level in there with Deadpool, where Deadpool's actually the bad guy, which is where he started off as a bad guy, Spider-Man. You get to play as 4 different Spider-Men from throughout the comic multiverse, and the dimensions shatter, and they all get thrown into each other's worlds and all that sort of stuff. Perfectly good game.
Yep.
My choice for 2010 is slightly controversial for the game in the series, but definitely my choice in the series, and that's Mass Effect 2. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's up there with the Assassin's Creeds. It's up there with FIFA, the Warcraft franchise, Pokemon, Mass Effect. I stumbled across by accident. I bought a Xbox 360 from my girlfriend at the time's friend, and they just accidentally left Mass Effect in there.
Yeah,
and
right.
I played through this game and fell in love with it. When 2 came out and it was on PlayStation, I grabbed it straight away. And the way that game starts, like, just bang, we're just going to kill the main character off right at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And
spoiler alert.
It's a 13-year-old game. If you haven't played it, it's not really a spoiler. It happens at the start of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I thought it had one of the best antagonists for that year as in a story. this was around the time we actually started our vision of kind of what we're doing now. Back in 2010, we were looking at doing a website kind of like how IGN is now, and building on that. And we did a fair bit of work to put it in for, I don't know, a month or two.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that. And then we sort of gave up on the idea. It became a lot of work trying to, work our jobs. You were going to school at the time. And, our first ever game of the year, antagonist of the year, or whatever you want to call it, was for Mass Effect. So there you go. Just a little piece of S.O.S. or COG as it was back then.
COTG.
COTG, that's the one. I should know that. It's still my Twitter handle.
Yeah, right.
I still use that Twitter handle. But yeah. So your choice for this year.
I suppose it's my choice is pretty apt for what we've been talking about today, because I've gone for a Rockstar release. I've gone for the first Red Dead Redemption.
Great game. Great game.
Yeah, for me, I prefer it to the second one. That's for some people that's controversial. For other people, it's absolutely not. But I love the story of the first one. I love the atmosphere of it. For the time, it was, a lot of the mechanics in the game were pretty revolutionary, and what they were able to achieve in a setting that was, so far in the past was really pretty impressive. Back then in that era, Rockstar were knocking it out of the park pretty much with every game that they released, and still, I think one of the best endings in a video game.
Yeah, it was definitely up there. I think that took a couple of our awards that year as well, or most of them actually from memory. I've probably still got the file somewhere, but yeah, I enjoyed the game, but I preferred 2.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It's my personal opinion. I think 2 still holds up very, very well today, visually and story wise, and it's just a very well made game. But both of them are, as are most Rockstar games. We leave out the GTA trilogy.
I hope, in a way, that they do a remaster of Red Dead Redemption, but I guess that the GTA trilogy probably made some of the anticipation of a potential Red Dead Redemption remaster a little bit tepid.
Yeah, I mean, the remaster of Red Dead didn't really go down too well because it was just kind of a port and adding.
Yeah, it was just a port. Yeah,
Red Dead Zombies or whatever it was called, in with it, and then the price point was a bit of a sore point for a lot of people. But yeah, that's where we're at. 2010, done, in, all around.
Not long
it
to go.
No, I think, what did we say we're going to? 2021?
Yeah.
Is that right? So 11 more years, and then we're going to start putting these brackets out for people to vote on, which we'll then announce each week. But to do that, you got to follow us on the socials. Links in the bio. Get on there. Jump over onto Facebook. Jump onto Instagram. Jump onto TikTok. Hell, we're even going to be putting it out here on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep, we'll need you to vote, so make sure you get onto it.
Oh, excuse me. So, until then, though, I've been Brennan Hoof. I mirrored my camera.
That was correct. That was correct.
It was for you, but it wasn't for me. For me, it's like
Yeah,
that.
right.
I mirrored my camera so I'd get it right, and I still stuffed it up.
People who are only
Oh.
listening to the audio are going to wonder what's going on now.
Yeah, I was trying to point at him. So from me, Brennan Heath, from that guy Pomster, make sure you follow, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And in short videos, we'll see you throughout the week. For the podcast and audio listeners, we'll see you next week.
See you later.